The movie begins with the death of Charlemagne, and soon after a girl named Johanna is born in the small town of Ingelheim am Rhein. She is the daughter of a strict village priest, who rules his household with harsh authority. His wife, Johanna's mother, is of Saxon origin and secretly continues to worship the old pagan god Wotan, despite her husband's beliefs. As Johanna grows up, she shows a deep intelligence and becomes a thoughtful, articulate girl. She secretly studies the Bible, growing in knowledge without her father knowing. Tragedy strikes the family when Johanna's older brother dies unexpectedly. Afterward, her father decides to send his second son, Johannes, to a prestigious cathedral school in Dorad, hoping that he will learn more about the scriptures. However, when the teacher, Esculapiu, visits their home in Ingelheim to assess Johannes's abilities, he quickly realizes that Johanna is far more capable than her brother when it comes to understanding the Bible. Despite her father's objections, Johanna is allowed to be taught by Esculapius, who begins to introduce her to new ideas, including works like Homer's Odyssey, broadening her horizons beyond just religious texts. A messenger from the bishop arrives at Johanna's home to take her to the cathedral school, but Johanna's father quickly steps in and claims that there has been a mistake. He allows the messenger to leave with his other son, Johannes, instead. This decision frustrates Johanna, but she refuses to accept it. That night, unable to stand being ignored, Johanna makes a brave decision. She runs away from home. She finds her brother Johannes, who is standing beside the body of the slain messenger. They are both shocked, but Johanna is determined to go to Dorestad and make a life for herself. Together, they head for the city, hoping for a better future. When they finally arrive in Dorestad, Johanna is ready to speak her mind. She surprises the bishop by speaking boldly about her desire to study, and the bishop, shocked by her confidence, doesn't know how to respond. Meanwhile, Odo, the teacher, reluctantly agrees to let Johanna join his class, despite his reservations. Johanna's intelligence and strong character shine through as she starts learning with the other students. Her determination to prove herself becomes clear as she settles into her new life. As Johanna grows older, Count Gerald, a powerful and influential man, takes a liking to her. He offers her a place to stay in his home, and over time, he begins to fall in love with her. Johanna, though initially focused on her studies, starts to feel the same way about him, but their relationship faces new challenges when Count Gerald is called away to war, joining the army of Lothair I. This leaves Johanna behind, vulnerable to the scheming of Gerald's wife, Richilda. While Gerald is away, Richilda sees Johanna as a threat. Fearing that Johanna might win Gerald's heart, she tries to arrange a marriage for Johanna, hoping to get rid of her once and for all. Johanna, however, is determined not to be pushed into a marriage she doesn't want, but her life is about to change terrifyingly. During the wedding ceremony, the city is thrown into chaos as Vikings raid and attack the town. The Vikings bring bloodshed and destruction, killing many people in their wake. Johanna fights to survive the brutal attack, narrowly escaping death. But the tragedy doesn't stop there. Her brother Johannes is caught in the attack and is killed during the raid, leaving Johanna devastated and alone. After the tragedy of her brother's death and the raid on the city, Johanna decides to flee her troubled past and hide her true identity. She disguises herself as a man and enters the Fulda monastery of Benedictines, taking on the name Brother Johannes Anglicus. In this new life, she hopes to escape the dangers that have followed her, especially from her father's discovery of her running away. Despite her best efforts to keep her secret, Johanna's past catches up with her when her father, still unaware of her disguise, visits the monastery, believing she is his son Johannes. The reunion, however, takes a dark turn when her father begins to suspect something isn't right. When he discovers the truth, that Johanna has been living as a man, he tries to expose her, but he suffers a fatal stroke, leaving Johanna in an even more complicated and dangerous situation. Soon after, the monastery is struck by a fever that spreads rapidly among the monks. Johanna becomes ill herself, but she's clever enough to avoid a physical examination. She is helped by an elderly monk, who had already figured out her secret long before the fever outbreak. The monk had recognized her as a woman and chose to keep her secret, understanding the danger she would face if anyone discovered the truth. In desperation, she flees once again, knowing she cannot remain hidden for long. However, this time, she finds shelter and safety with Arn, a kind man and the son of a woman Johanna had helped years earlier. Arn, recognizing her for who she truly is, offers her refuge and helps her start a new life. As a woman, Johanna takes on a new role, becoming a tutor to Arn's daughter, Arnalda. It is here, in this peaceful corner of the world, that Johanna begins to find a sense of stability once more. Later, she embarks on a pilgrimage to Rome, where she hopes to use her medical knowledge and skills to make a name for herself as a medicus. In a city that is both vibrant and dangerous, Johanna knows that her talent could open doors for her, but only if she keeps her secret intact. In Rome, Johanna quickly proves her worth. She gains the trust and admiration of the people when she successfully cures Pope Sergius II of a painful bout of gout using her herbal remedies. Her reputation as a skilled healer spreads, and before long, Pope Sergius appoints her as his physician. Her role evolves further when she becomes the nomenclator, responsible for overseeing important matters within the papal court. Johanna's rise is meteoric, but she knows that this success is precarious, as she must constantly keep her true identity hidden. However, Johanna's growing influence and reputation don't go unnoticed by others, and soon tensions rise between Pope Sergius and Emperor Lothair I. The Pope, demanding that Lothair confirm his election, threatens the emperor with divine wrath. In response, Lothair marches his army to Rome to assert his power. As the emperor's army approaches, something miraculous happens. The great door of the papal palace closes on its own, a hydraulic device that is believed to be an act of God. This divine intervention stuns everyone watching, and the Pope uses it to his advantage, declaring that God's wrath will fall upon Lothair and his soldiers if they do not show proper respect. In an unexpected moment of humility, Lothair's soldiers all kneel, acknowledging the Pope's power and authority, with Lothair himself reluctantly following suit. The scene is a remarkable testament to the Pope's influence and the sway of divine power over political matters. However, the drama doesn't end there. Among those watching this powerful scene unfold is Gerald, the man from Johanna's past who once fell in love with her. Gerald, who is now with Lothair's army, is immediately struck by a realization. He recognizes Johanna, even in her male disguise, and is both shocked and captivated by the sight of her. His feelings for her, which had never truly disappeared, come rushing back. He openly admits his desire for her, and this revelation forces Johanna into a painful inner conflict. As Johanna stands at the crossroads of her past and present, she feels the weight of her divided identities. On one hand, she is still the woman who had once lived a simple life as a daughter and a sister, yet now she is caught in the complex life of a man, a healer, and a person of power. Torn between the roles of male and female, Johanna grapples with her emotions, knowing that every decision she makes could change the course of her future forever. As Johanna's influence continues to grow, the political landscape in Rome becomes even more treacherous. Lothair's ally, Anastasius, sees an opportunity to seize power for himself. He plots the assassination of Pope Sergius II, believing that he can take his place as pope. However, things take an unexpected turn when the people of Rome, in a surprising act of acclamation, elect Johanna as their new pope. The decision is a bold one, as the city's citizens have seen her wisdom, compassion, and leadership firsthand. Johanna becomes Pope John VIII, though she continues to disguise herself as a man, presenting a charitable face to the world. During her reign, Johanna proved herself as a pope who genuinely cared for the well-being of the people, especially women and children. She implements policies that improve their lives and appoints Gerald, the man who still harbors deep feelings for her, as the head of the papal army. Despite the political intrigue surrounding her, Johanna continues to focus on helping the most vulnerable in society. However, her secret and her position are always under threat. As time passes, Johanna discovers that she is pregnant. The news is a shocking blow to her papacy, as her pregnancy threatens to reveal her true identity to the world. She tries desperately to hold off giving birth until after the holy celebration of Easter, knowing that any scandal could lead to her downfall. But tragedy strikes during the Easter procession. Gerald, who has become her most trusted ally, is murdered by conspirators, with Anastasius at the helm of the plot. The loss of Gerald devastates Johanna, and on that fateful day, as her grief and stress overwhelm her, she collapses and dies during childbirth. With Johanna's death, Anastasius ascends to the papacy, taking control of the church that she had led. However, his victory is short-lived. The Roman people who had once hailed Johanna as their pope soon turned against Anastasius. The tide of public opinion shifts, and he is eventually deposed and exiled to a remote monastery. There, in a bitter act of revenge, Anastasius writes the Liber Pontificalis, a list of all the popes, but deliberately omits Johanna's name, erasing her from history. But the truth does not remain hidden forever. Many years later, the story of the female pope is brought to light by Bishop Arnaldo, who reveals that she was in fact Arnalda, the daughter of Arn. The revelation of Johanna's true identity and her story challenges the historical record and reminds the world of a remarkable woman who defied the norms of her time to change history.